All right, here we go. We have comedy royalty in the building.
Please.
Earthquake, welcome to VladTV.
Well, thank you for having me, Vlad. I met you before, man, and it's an honor to be on your show.
Honor to have you.
Thank you.
Well, it's your first time here.
Yes, it is.
Let's go ahead and start from the beginning.
Okay.
So, you were born in D.C.?
Southeast.
Okay. And your mom actually named you Earthquake.
Not really. That's just a joke.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it really was. My real name is Nathaniel Stroman. Mm-hmm. And as a black comedian, I needed something to give me a fighting start. Welcome in Nathaniel Stroman. Boo, boo, boo. So I had to get a name that gave me a fighting chance. And how I came up with it, I went to one of my friends that made bad decisions in his life. And I came and say, man, I'm thinking about changing my name to Earthquake for a stage name. He said, I wouldn't do that if I was you. And so I went on and did it.
He makes bad decisions.
Yeah, so that's how, I judge a motherfucker. When you don't have a role model, find a motherfucker who's fucking up his life. So I'm thinking about doing it. And he said, yeah, then you don't do it. And if you say no. So I go opposite of his advice.
Okay. Now, you mention your mom a lot throughout throughout your routines, but your father you don't mention as much.
My biological father didn't know him. He was killed at all. He was killed. My biological mother gave me up to my aunt. So my aunt and my uncle raised me.
Oh.
So they the one who raised me since I was 2. My mother couldn't bring any more children in her mother's house. And they said, the next kid you come in here ain't staying. And I was the next one. And when I got 2, she said, as soon as he able to walk, he gonna walk his ass up out of here. So she gave me to her sister, and they raised me.
How many kids did your mom have before you?
She had 3. Yeah, 3. I was the 4th.
Okay, from the same father?
Same father.
Okay, so your biological father, had 3 kids with your mother.
Right. Her husband, yeah.
And then, they were married?
That's what I was told.
Okay. But then when you came,
right,
you had to go to someone else's, to
I
your
had to stay there
to your aunt's house.
To the aunt house. She told him, not, like a parent, you're not self-sufficient. You already got 3 kids by this motherfucker. Don't have 4. And to stand on what she believed in, she didn't let me stay. So my aunt, which I call my mother, who raised me, already had a husband, and she said, well, let him stay here until you get on his feet. And I just stayed there for the rest of the time.
Okay, and what exactly happened to your father?
He was killed, shot in the head. He was in the streets, he was doing different things. He was a street worker, hustling, those type of things.
How old were you when he got killed?
I know I was in the military. I didn't go to the funeral.
Oh, so this didn't happen when you were a kid. This happened way later on.
No.
Okay.
No,
so
I was in the military.
So all these years, your adolescent years, your teen years, he's around. Why aren't you guys connecting at all?
Because for me personally, I had a person that was occupying that was my uncle who played my father, and there was no need, nor did he reach out for me. So the feeling was mutual.
He didn't reach out to you at all?
Never. But he had about 27 kids.
20? Are you joking right now? Or
no,
serious?
I'm telling the truth.
27 kids.
He was so trifling that he had 4 women that he told them this was his first son, and he named them Junior. So we went to the funeral. I wasn't there, but it was 4 other kids with my brother's name. And we fucks with him all the time. You got the same name you got. And I met one of my brothers, half-brothers, when I joined the military. When they called our name, we both stood up. and we conversated, and we found out that he was our father.
I mean, that's kind of dangerous. You could be dating your sister and not even know it. Like, it's all in the same area.
Yeah, I might have fucked one of my sisters. I mean, it's 27 of
27, all in D.C.?
All in D.C.
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah. And they was crying at the funeral, and my brother told me about it, because I was stationed over in Okinawa, Japan when it happened. and I wasn't gonna take none of my leave to fight back. It's one of my regrets. Just pay, not to pay respect to him, but to the status who he was. I should have did that, and that's one of the regrets. But anyway, he said the chicks was in that motherfucker crying and shit, and my mother was in the pew sitting beside my brother. He said, "You better not get up and get over there." But she was the only one, from my story, she was the only one that actually married him, and she married him, from what I'm told from family, so he wouldn't go to jail. Because back in the day, judge say, you either get married or we sending you to jail. That motherfucker said, here she is. This is my wife. I got a family. Used us as a prop.
27 children.
27, man.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember, D.L. Hughley's a regular on my show.
My man.
And he had a side baby at one point that unfortunately passed. But at one point he had to tell his wife about the baby. But I remember he made the joke. He said, no, your family's supposed to find out about your side baby at the funeral when the way God intended it to be.
God intended it, exactly.
And this is basically what you're talking about, right?
It. Well, we knew, but I was always, it didn't matter because I had someone else that filled that void.
Yeah.
My brothers did not, you know what I'm saying? So they took it more harder than I did, you know.
Did you have a relationship with your biological mother?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we was good.
Okay.
We was good.
But your aunt actually raised you.
She actually raised me. And, they being siblings, they went back and forth,
Well, listen, at least had a loving home in your own immediate family. You didn't have to go out to foster care or end up with, some distant relative or...
Well, it makes you who you are. I mean, if God would have meant me to be there, and that's what I told my mother, my biological mother, before she passed. And she carried a lot of guilt with it. And I told her, I mean, you can tell the decision you made was for the best because you see the result. Look how it turned out. Mm-hmm. So it was that phone there. So we was good.
Well, you talked about how you were so poor growing up, you didn't have enough to eat sometimes.
Well, that was a joke.
That was a joke too.
Yeah,
okay.
That was a joke. We was good.
You guys were okay.
I was a private home kid. My father worked. My mother ran immigrations, the part of it. So that was a joke.
Well, you went to high school.
Yes.
And I don't know whether it's a joke or not, but you joined the Air Force right afterwards?
Yeah, because my mother, it wasn't, though, she wasn't, the conditions of living there wasn't conducive for a teenager. She had zero patience and restriction off of it. And then on top of that, when someone takes you in, you want to leave the obligation as soon as possible. And my mentality was I could go see the world and have a motherfucker holler at me, which is a military instructor. I could stay home and have a motherfucker holler at me for free. So I select the other one. And it was the best decision I made because it allowed me to have a world view and know people are from different ethnic groups that we have more in common than we have different. And it got me out the segregation of my environment to see the different kind of people in the world. That world exists more than just Southeast DC.
Well, yeah, you ended up in Japan.
Japan, Okinawa.
Okinawa on an island in Japan. And let me tell you something about Japan that people may not realize. Well, you already know this, but Japan is one of those countries that they don't really care about speaking English over there.
At all.
At all. They could care less.
Care less.
Right.
And they don't accommodate it either.
No, they do not.
No.
So you go over there, you better learn some Japanese.
You better
or
learn it or bring you a translator with you.
Right.
Because they're not, no.
Yeah, like when I was DJing, I did shows over there, and it was like, you go to certain countries, and most people know English, and they'll try to speak English to you.
Right.
Not Japan.
No. They like, motherfucker, you visiting.
You visiting.
It's your responsibility.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was, so I stayed on base a lot.
So you got up to a sergeant.
Yes.
Okay, so you were moving up the ranks.
Well, I never, ever I was a terrible soldier.
Were you?
Yeah. I mean, because I really went there for the commercials. Great place to start, get an education, see the world. I didn't sign up for the part of the other things off of it. though I did my job and I had a job loading, missiles and stuff. But I really wanted to see, and it was the best thing in the world. And I tell people, suggest they should do it, younger people to see it.
Well, there was an incident with a nuclear bomb.
True story.
True story. Let's go ahead and tell
That's
it.
not a joke. I tried to see Two Live Crew. They was, this was back when which is a friend of mine, Luke Campbell, finally was bringing it around when it was hot, when he had 150 the baddest chicks in the world. And this was the first time strippers was actually on stage, and I had not been to a strip club. Well, anyway, they was coming to our base, Bossier City, which is right outside Shreveport. And back in that day, that city was like the Soldier Story that had Denzel Washington in it. It was just a country ass town. Well, anyway, they was coming. And being a person like, hey man, Luke coming with his hoes, I don't want to work, took leave and everything. So unfortunately, if you didn't know anything about the military, I loaded nuclear weapons for a living, and you have to eat monthly, or I forgot what's the integral part. You have to change the ordnance in the plane so the Russians or our enemy don't know the capability of the fleet. Scheduling messed up. It was my turn, and we needed to change the ordinance. I told my sergeant, hey man, I don't supposed to be working. I'm supposed to go see Luke. I told y'all this. He said, just go change it. Change the ordinance. As soon as you finish, you can leave. You can't put that kind of pressure. So I went there, changed it using memory instead of following the checklist, telling my crew to hurry up and do it. Put the nuclear weapon up there, didn't make sure the grease fittings had engaged. Brung the rack down, tried to close the bomb bay doors, but it didn't engage. So it came off out of the bomb bay of the B-52 and hit the ground. Boom.
A nuclear missile fell out of a plane and hit the ground.
Yeah, it was because it was in there, and you put it in the bomb bay, and you're supposed to close the doors. I put it in there to load it, and once we put it up there, and I'm going, telling them it's time to close the bomb bay doors, and you hear it, you hear something say, pap, and the motherfucker come down and hit the ground, boom, and everybody started running. The security, police, everybody. I'm saying, the fuck y'all running for? This a nuke. You can't outrun this motherfucker. It's going to take out the whole state of Louisiana. So I immediately started covering my ass. I grabbed my checklist and hit grease fittings that say, yeah, I did all the necessary procedures. And by this time, trucks come in and police, they wake up the president, say we got a broken arrow, a nuke done fell on our song on it. And long story short, I didn't get to go see Luke that night.
Well, this was, who was the president at the time? Was it George W. Bush?
No, I think this a little bit. I think that might have been...
Clinton?
No, it's before that. I think Reagan.
What year was this?
What was this? I joined in 86. Yeah, that's about 87.
Ronald Reagan was the president at that time.
I think it was Reagan.
You're the reason why Ronald Reagan had to get out of bed.
Yes. Somewhere my name is in the Pentagon. Yes. I told this story to Howard Stern. That's how I got out to everything. I was just talking about it, like, yeah, that's what happened. And,
Had a bomb like that gone off, how many people would have died?
Well, first of all, nuclear weapons are some of the safest weapons that we have. First of all, it has to fall for so many feet for to activate the initiative and the rest of it. Just the fact that it fell, and it just felt the fear.
Well, this just goes to show the effect of what big asses have on men's psyche. That was the root of the problem, really. You want to go see some big, Luke dancers.
Yes.
And back then, I remember.
Yes.
I'm a little bit younger than you, but I remember the effect of Luke and the Two Live Crew. We had never seen anything like that on television before. Big booty thongs.
And I was like, oh my God, they're coming here? Oh, Jesus. Bought my ticket. I was going to be the front with him. He said he was bringing 150 women, booty shakers from, man.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Luke would probably get a kick out of this story.
Yeah.
He's heard it already.
If he hasn't heard it.
Okay. So you were in the military, and then 1991 rolls around.
Right.
With the whole Gulf War.
Right.
And you had a problem with that.
Had a problem with it because, first of all, my time was up. I was deciding that I want to get out or not anyway. And on the phone, they had this thing called stop loss. I mean, any people that have significant job, such as that's important for the nation, couldn't leave. I didn't read that in that long contract that they had.
Okay.
And being a bomb loader, if you're about to go to war, you don't want a bomb loader to leave. We need you. And I'm, what the fuck? If you don't want me, I can't stay. Now I don't want to stay. You mean to tell me I can't leave? It's some bullshit. So I had an attitude about that. Second of all, I didn't believe in the cause of the war. If people didn't want this, we was fighting this war because of Iraq had just invaded. Saddam Hussein had just raided Kuwait. Mm-hmm. And they felt that him invading Kuwait, he would have owned 20, 40, 30% of the world's oil, and we weren't going to let it. And I was like, fuck, I'm going to fight for gas, and I don't have a car. You need to send Exxon over that motherfucker. Or somebody else. That's who it is. So those was my two things off of it. So I told him, man, I'll pass. And you got to understand, during that time, everybody was patriotic. Whitney Houston was singing the national anthem. Everybody was patriotic. And you got this one chip in the cookie talking about, motherfucker, I don't want to go. So I was labeled as a coward, as hating my country, on base. And they made an example of me. And that was cool.
Well, you left, though.
Once the stop loss, once they released, the war was over, and they released the stop loss, it was able for me to continue with my process to discharge of my original time.
Okay. So you never actually fought in the war?
I flew over there, and they had, you got to understand, the build-up was January the 16th. The bill for war, you have to, of course, go early. So I was over there for 2 months, and then they sent me back before it kicked off. Mm.
Well, fast forward to 2020.
Yes.
We're now, back with issues in the Middle East once again.
Yes, we are.
With Iran this time.
Of course.
Which we've had a long history with.
True.
How do you feel about the current situation with Iran?
Well, I think this is what happened when you allow a real estate developer to negotiate our foreign policy. And my personal opinion is, I didn't vote for Trump. It's a secular, and he has strong supporters that believes in him, believes that he, despite of having no experience, never served in the government or nothing, no education, should be making these type of decisions. And since you support him, you're his supporters, should deal with the consequences that goes along with his decision. And that means take off that MAGA hat, don't go to the rally, and take your ass down to the military recruiter and sign up and go over to the Middle East and protect some of these soft motherfucking targets we got. Because you feel that a man who build houses or build buildings is equipped enough to make foreign motherfucking decisions that's going to impact the world. And it just shows you the privilege of being a white male, because there is no other human that will be given this latitude of this ignorance, of no experience, of no education, who say he don't read, he knows more than the generals, and come from 5 generations that never served a day of military service, but yet to be able to put us on the brink of a fucking war. And y'all support that. I'm a great comedian, but that don't mean I should be able to do fucking surgery. If you have a problem, I should not be able to be sitting out here and do a heart transplant because I'm a great comedian. And because of a group of our people voted him in. They supported him on his immigration policy. They supported him on his tax cut. They supported him on everything. So now supporting him on the decision and deal with the consequences. Why my fellow military people who didn't vote for him or think we should have somebody in here who's experienced. We have 350 million motherfuckers that live in this great country. And the best we can do is sell a real estate agent to go here and negotiate with Iran. He doesn't know the difference between a Shiite. No, he doesn't know. He doesn't. He'll tell you that. Or Sunni. He doesn't know the difference. He don't know the faction between the two. That'd be equivalent as a motherfucker who cut hair to come over here and say, I want you to moderate the difference between black and white in this country. And he doesn't even know the history of slavery and why we have these divisions. He doesn't know the divisions over there. He doesn't care. I tell you why he doesn't care. He's the only president ever that we had that's been president for 4 years that haven't aged a bit. Every other president has aged. You know why? Because the weight of the world is on them. He has no empathy. He knows if anything pop off, he's going to be protected because of the position he's in. So he sleeps well at night. You don't have to worry about who wakes up the phone, who picks up the phone at 3 o'clock. He takes the bitch off the hook. Because I don't need you to wake me up. I need my sleep. Fuck it. I'll deal with it in the morning. He know if the world park off, his son ain't going over there to fight. It's going to be minorities and poor white kids fighting a decision because he don't want to play diplomacy. And he always want to blame it on the black man, the previous administration. He didn't do this because of that. Well, this is the reason why you ran. Because he didn't do this. What is your plan? Anybody could kill a motherfucker that's second in command and do it so raggedly and then commit. What the fuck you think they going to do? Why wouldn't they want a nuke? Motherfucker, they know once they get a nuke, nigga, you can't invade them. Look at all the other countries that we done had that gave their nuke up. Saddam Hussein, dead. Libya, dead. Every motherfucker who got a nuke, you got to talk to them. You sit down and push your way. They care about their country too. America first. They're not American. Iranian, they care about theirs. They are terrorists. And you kill this motherfucker because he's a terrorist, but you shake hands with the leader of North Korea and Putin, and they killing motherfuckers too. You ain't shooting and killing them motherfuckers. So now when an American die, it's ready for you to cut off a war because we ain't having it. You ain't say shit to the Saudis when they chopped up that Washington Post, motherfucker. You told it. Now you believe this intelligence, but you don't believe the other intelligence told you they killed the motherfuckers. It's a game. It's a fucking game, and he's playing with people's lives who signed up to defend this great country. And you motherfuckers who Trump supporter put him there with no experience. A real estate motherfucking agent is running the country.
Well, Kaepernick, he chimed in on this.
Okay.
After the general got assassinated. He said, there's nothing new about American terrorist attacks against black and brown people for the expansion of American imperialism. America has always sanctioned and besieged black and brown bodies both at home and abroad. America militarism is the weapon wielded by American imperialism to enforce its policing and plundering of the non-white world.
See, I like Kaepernick, but I disagree with him. America ain't did shit. It's the people that's running that's speaking for us. We the people have to make a decision. It's us who elect our leaders that's doing what they want to do. See, I look at my country the same way I used to look at my old apartment. I love my apartment. I just can't stand my landlord. And that's what America, I love my country. I just hate the motherfucker who's running it. This country hasn't done shit to nobody. It's the people who done it in the name of our country. And with all due respect, I lost respect for Kaepernick when he told me he didn't vote. You're part of the problem. See, as long as you stay idle and do not put your name on this motherfucker, to put somebody in that shares your views, you allow them to keep the power that it is. Instead of you standing there taking a knee, which is great, and I'm with that, what is the solution?
So as an ex-military guy, you supported the taking of the knee during the national anthem?
Of course.
Okay.
Because it had nothing to do with, I fought for the right for dissension.
Yeah.
It wasn't against it. But after the knee, how do we deal with the solution of it? If you want to be a martyr, then be a martyr. But what we do? But sitting back and saying America is doing it is not the way it on here. Every one of these motherfuckers who didn't vote but has something to say can kiss my ass. Because you're a part of the problem. Because you're an enabler. Because you allowed them to be there. Because their followers is putting them there. And they're the best even if you don't agree with us, get on the side with us who we believe in and give them your vote so they can get in and fight the good fight. America ain't done shit. It's the people that speaks for America, which the people we put in there to do it. And you not voting, you're complicit. You're a co-conspirator to it.
I feel you. I feel you. Well, you leave the military.
True.
And what do you start doing after that?
I goes to Atlanta. I didn't want to go back to D.C. because, I didn't want to get into illegal pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
So I turned on CNN, which I watch a lot and lost a lot of women because that. It said during the 90s, came on to the best place for young black males for opportunity is Atlanta. I've never been before. I said, motherfucker, I'm going.
Freaknik was going on during that time, right?
It hadn't came yet. It was on its way.
It was on its way.
It was on its way.
Okay, got it.
And so I got with 4 of them, other my friends, and say, hey, man, we don't have no future in this. This was a great place to start. Ain't shit to finish. Because you have to formulate yourself in the military if you want to go higher in the ranks. Just can't be an average soldier and excel. And all of us was average. We were just real niggas in the military from different things.
Okay, so you moved to Atlanta.
Right.
And you have no comedy experience at all during this time.
I had did like Tops and Blues and seen some open mics, but it was nothing to the point that career moving or this is what I wanted to do.
Okay, how are you supporting yourself in the beginning in Atlanta?
Unemployment from the military.
Okay.
And I was living with my future baby mother, living with her and living off base and keeping the off base checks and just stacking them up for my departure. So I knew within 2 years I was getting out, so I started stacking money so I can decide what I was going to do.
Okay, so you had a few dollars to keep you going.
Yeah.
And then when does the comedy come about?
I was dating this young lady named Javay Young. And I was like, I'm thinking I want to do comedy. And we was watching Delirious. And everybody in the motherfucker was just dying laughing at Eddie. And I was like, this is funny. But this ain't the funniest shit I ever heard. And she said, well, motherfucker, if you think you could do better, then do it. I said, all right, then, fuck it. Come on. And we went to a club, and it started.
So you got on an open mic, basically?
Yeah.
How'd you do the first time?
I did good.
Okay.
Yeah, my first time, didn't write it. We sit there, practice it, and I did well.
Okay, so then you start to build up.
Yes. They gave me, what they did, they gave me $100. And I said, $100 for 5 minutes? Shit. And then, they kept getting $100 and it just multiplied. And nothing better came. So I tell people all of it wasn't no epiphany for me. It was just the best decision that day, and another decision hasn't came since.
Okay. So at one point, you actually co-owned a comedy club in Buckhead.
Yes.
The Uptown Comedy Corner?
Yes, because the Comedy Act wouldn't let me perform there. You know what I mean? They wouldn't let me perform. So I called my mother and said, these motherfuckers won't let me perform. And her thing is you can't get mad at somebody for not allowing them to use their shit. You need to get your own. Mm-hmm. I said, I can't get no motherfucking comedy club. Then don't complain about it. Do whatever you need to do to get him to allow you to use your shit, but motherfucker don't let you ride their bike. You got to get your own bike. And that's what I did.
So you bought your own club so you could perform comedy at your own club.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love that, man.
Right,
because I have so many actors that come on this show and the complaint is there's not enough roles. They don't hire me enough. I got passed over for this, and I need to be bigger and so forth. And I'm always thinking like, well, why don't you just do your own films then? Like, if you're really complaining about that, start small. What's the big deal? Like, complaining that someone doesn't give you a job is not going to help you get that job.
And in retrospect, my mother was a brilliant person because you should never be mad at somebody for not doing something for you that you're not qualified or able to do for yourself. The personal responsibility is on you. So if nobody wants to give it to you, then Either you want it and you got to do it for yourself, or you just got to wait until they're facilitated for you. But complaining is not one of the options.
Oh yeah, I remember how many times program directors at radio stations just would not give me a shot to be a DJ or have a show on their radio programs, and that's what promoted me to actually, prompted me to go open VladTV, because I said, I'm just gonna have my own shit.
Right.
No one can tell me that I can't do anything.
Right.
Because I got said no so many times.
Right. To the point you said, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
Fuck
and
it.
Look how it changed. But see, people, I tell them all the time, don't look for the end game. Just start. If you want to make a movie, do a 30-minute whatever, and just start and continue on and put it out there.
Well, you had another club later on, Earthquakes Comedy Corner 2 in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, we did
Atlanta,
3
Georgia.
total.
3 total.
Yes.
3 clubs.
Yeah,
You
2 in Atlanta, 1 in Dallas.
You still own them?
No, I got out the business.
Why is that?
Me and my partner fell out. Yeah, we fell out. It was during the height of the time. I was enjoying the life of it, because at that time I went from that $100 that I was so good, because all the other comedians wouldn't perform at my club, because it was, if you perform at his club, you can't come to the historic comedy act. So I had to do all the time by myself. That would allowed me to be the great comic that I am. And then when it popped, shit, I was in Atlanta, just learned Magic City was Magic City, and it was on. So, and plus, the trapping that comes along with, fast life, cocaine, and whole thing. And he thought at that time that I was not myself. And he tried to explore that.
Yeah, I don't do partners.
Me neither. No
Partnerships just don't work for me.
Not me either.
Just is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're an alpha dog like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My last partnership did not work out too well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I got to be the sole owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Presidente.
You mentioned cocaine. Is that when you started dabbling around that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had some of the best time in my life.
Okay, this is the 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not too far from the 80s, which was the golden era of
Yeah,
cocaine.
it was beautiful. Mine was L's. I had a fetish with it. I didn't do cocaine that way. I just rolled me a lace blunt, and I got it from my greatest rapper friend, and I looked up to. There's Biggie Small, and he said, "Smoke a L while you do me." And that was just a procedure that a woman gives you oral sex while you smoke a lace blunt, and it takes you back to your childhood. You're racing and it's stinging you high, and at the same time, if she's proficient, it was just a beautiful feeling.
Okay. So, what was your next big break? Because at one point you did Def Comedy Jam.
True.
Was that the big break?
No.
Okay. What was the big break before that?
I never had a big break.
No?
It's just accumulation of just great work on the time. I never host Def Jam. I never host BET Comic View. I never had my own television show. I never co-starred in a television show. I never had a starring role in a movie. Always did cameos. So it's just accumulation of just word of mouth, reconfirming when somebody referred to me, yeah, you right, and that's how it is.
Okay. You had a skit in one of your comedy routines where you said Whitney Houston made you stop using cocaine.
Yeah.
After seeing her.
Yeah,
before she passed.
Yes.
She looked bad.
Yes. I looked at her like, oh Lord, I need to quit. You see somebody else, you're like, oh shit. God damn, and I knew Whitney. Because she used to come to my club, her and Bobby Brown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bobby B and Whitney was friends way before this. So I knew Whitney in L.A. I was there when the shit popped off with Babyface and L.A. Reid, when Ludacris was on the radio before Love Love. I was doing it when the sound at its infant, so it was good. So I knew Whitney. I knew Bobby and them. They came to my club. I seen them and everything while they was working with LaFace and all them. So I seen and to see her come from there to this later, it was like, okay.
Yeah, Whitney was like one of the most beautiful women
in the world.
Period.
Yes.
And with a talent to go with it.
Ooh.
She was just like the perfect storm.
Yes. and she hit, and she was it. And to see it go that way, and plus you had, like I tell anybody, I really stopped using drugs was the reason why I was using it. No longer I was benefiting off of it. You know what I'm saying? I was dealing with the residual effects of using it. And it was like, okay, man, you're not getting the results for you using it. Why are you doing it? And then you have to come to, well, maybe you are being addicted to it. So then you're like, all right, I ain't doing it no more. And so I just stopped.
I mean, Bobby had his long history with drugs as well.
Yeah,
that started early.
Yeah, but I'm so glad that it was told that he didn't introduce Whitney to it, because that was the narrative.
Yeah, they're saying that she introduced it to him, but I don't know though.
I do. I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, Bobby was a drinker, and when we was in Atlanta, I seen Bobby a lot. He was not into drugs, like, period. And I'm glad that narrative, if anything else came out, that came out.
You had one of your routines where you talked about how crack, has 100 times the prison time of cocaine. So
yes.
You said if you were ever had to sell crack, that you would sell the baking soda separate.
Yeah.
Just give you the instructions to make it yourself.
Yeah, because they're giving you 15 years for the recipe. Because the difference between crack and cocaine is baking soda.
Right.
So it just showed the duplicity. See, that's how they do to my people. We have no problem with the law. We have a problem with the enforcement of the law. Now you're going to give the original ingredients less time than the combination of the ingredients with baking soda, which is sitting there. So if I was a drug dealer, I would have to give them the cocaine and a baking soda and say, you got to cook it for yourself, because they're giving a brother 15 years for the recipe.
So marriage and
Yes.
divorce and kids and child support, that's a central theme throughout a lot of your comedy routine.
It's been in my life since I have been having a very hard relationship with women, from my mother all the way down to the women in my life. If I look at any times that I can look at the pain, the common denominator is me and a woman.
Well, you said that you love your kids to death. You just wish that their mamas were different.
Yeah, I just wanted the woman of my dream to be the mother of my kids. They're great mothers. What I meant by that was I was not the man of their dreams. They have told me that many a times.
Okay.
And nor would I nor were they the woman of my dreams. We was two people that fell in love and found out we was all right, but we wasn't right. And in that process of coming to that conclusion that I wasn't right and they wasn't right, but we was all right, we made a permanent bond.
A baby.
Right.
Right.
And I always dreamed that the woman of my dream would be the mother of my kid, not somebody that we was just all right with. So that's the essence of the joke. That's why I always never understand why I don't know about no other men's baby mother, but why mines are so angry with me when we both agree that we wasn't right for each other. So where's the hurt from? Where's the distance from? We co-parent and just appreciate the great thing that we did together, which we have great kids, and live on that and move on with our lives.
Well, your ex-wife, Robin Goings,
Yes.
She actually did an interview on Comedy Hype.
Yes.
You saw it?
Oh, yes, I did. I posted it on my site.
Oh, you actually posted it yourself?
Yeah,
Okay.
because my attitude was, I never watched it, but I posted. Because I didn't have to watch it because I know what happened. And me and her has a different philosophy of what my responsibility to her is. And mine is, once I divorced you, my only responsibility is to take care of my son and not take care of you. Your situation and your independence and your survival, you're responsible for, not me.
Well, I had Darius McCrary on my show recently.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had his own issues with baby mothers and women in general. He dated Corinne Steffens at one point, which had a whole set of interesting events to go along with it. But he said something interesting. He said, child support is meant for kids, not a failed relationship.
It's a cold-blooded hustle, man. Child support is for child to support the child, not for failed relationships. And we've just witnessed how fathers have been moved out of the house since the welfare system. I was a producer on a documentary called Where Are All the Fathers? Where are all the fathers? And now we're in a society now where it's very difficult for a man to be a man.
But when you become to a one percenter, the money that you give, some women use that money for their standard of living. And that's where there's a disconnect, because it ain't your standard of living. And I just want the record to show, every financial responsibility for my children, I take on that. Mm-hmm. None of my mothers of my kids has never been a financial liability to them. When it's come to financial, I'm the only parent. When it comes to any other decision, we co-parent. But when it comes to their financial needs with anyone, from cars, school, relocation, family trips, I bear that responsibility and I welcome it. But when they turn 18, me and my child has that report of that financial responsibility, and I don't need a moderator to send it to any of them for you to distribute that money to my child.
Well, in the interview, she said because you had paid off your child support a little bit early, that she felt she was about to be homeless along with your son.
Well, her being homeless is not. The reason why I paid it off early, because I'm an independent contractor, as if you.
Yep.
You don't work, you don't eat.
Right.
If you have a young lady, which she is, and you know that if I mess around and get sick, I will not make money to pay her. So my thing is, let me put some extra to it so I build up some working capital. So in case I get sick, I have payments I already paid. Mm-hmm. Thanks to the good Lord, I never got sick. So those 15 years of extra payments accumulated to 6 months early of me paying. So I say a joke. My son is 17, but in child support years, he's 18.
Right.
So if women want a man to pay the arrears for the money she didn't get, then if you've been paid overages, you can't keep that too. You can't have it both ways. And if you spend it, and because you spend it, now it results in you not able to sustain your standard of living, how is it my fault?
I'm on your side, man.
How is it my fault? How am I making you homeless because I fulfilled my legal obligation to you, who you sent me to court? You took me to child support. They set the parameters in the prison. Personally, I would have gave you more had you came and talked to me. But you brought a third arbiter in here and said, I don't trust him. Y'all tell us that you brought this man in here. And he said, this is how much I have to pay. I honored it and took it on everything. I paid my son everything, his personal, his private school, his Cadillac truck his tuitions that he's going now for college. He lives in the room with him in Calabasas where I got the house for him. Everything financially has to deal with my kid on. Now the money that I give to you that's supposed to be for him now is causing you financial hardship. And do you call me and say this is that? I didn't hear from her. I heard the video. And for Comedy Hype, which they say in the interview that I'm the motivation for them having this site, they have never interviewed me like you interviewed me. But you interviewed my ex-wife?
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of saw through that. At the end of the day, the child support is made for the child. It's not designed for you not to work. It's child support. It's not adult support.
it's been that mixture has been going on for years. And a woman can easily, and this is a stigma that goes along with being a black male, it's easy for her to say he's a bad father.
Mm-hmm.
You could just sit there. I mean, just like police say, man, I threatened, I feared for my life, and people just accepted it was right to kill him. He's not a good father, he don't care if his father, and just people just believe it.
Right, especially being an entertainer,
Yes.
the whole stigma associated with that.
Yes.
Oh, he just had a bunch of kids, he don't
had a
take
bunch
care of none of them. Yeah.
Yes, it
Yep.
just is. And anybody that knows me, that's the greatest accomplishment I have ever done in my life. I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And that's the best thing I have ever done in my life is my kids. And I take on that responsibility because I know how it feels not to have a father.
Did any of your baby mothers actually work while they were raising the kids?
Yeah, they worked. But how can I put this? What they feel they're worth, the open society and employment doesn't agree with it. So, so you know, what they charge me is not what they can get if they was to put their name on anything else on it. And see, that's another disconnect that we have.
Yeah, no, I've seen this growing up. You know, you see the girls who get, pregnant by the ball players, and then they don't really have a skill set. They don't have the ability to get a high-paying job. They'll go and get a retail job, and they're like, well, shit, this little check is less than what I get for child support, so why even bother? I might as well just stay home with the kid all day.
Not only that, but see, it's another hook to this game. They have to get you, say you're an unfit father, so they can get more custody time. Because if you're the custodian parent with 90% of the custodian, you get more money.
Yeah.
If we co-parent, it's 50-50.
You only get half.
You're going to get half. But if I get the 100%, then I can get the max. So only way I can deny you the 50% to co-parent, I have to go in there and say you're a bad father.
Yeah.
Because, see, that's the game. So if you go in our records, now she said I'm a great father and everything. When he was 3 and 4, I was not a great father. I only right now have visitations Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. But my son lives with me back and forth now because he's old enough to make his own decision. He wants to be with his father.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people. Like, for example, Matt Barnes.
Yeah, my friend.
He got custody of his twins. Cost him $1 million.
It's not set up for us to get our kids because it cost me a whole lot of money. You know what I mean?
How much did you spend?
Man, over $1 million.
Whoa. You spent $1 million
because there's other legal costs that I'm currently going through with her.
Tito Ortiz.
Yes.
He got custody of his twins. He had a baby with Jenna Jameson, the ex-adult film star. Cost him like $500,000.
Yes.
It only cost me $500,000, but let me tell you, if it was $10 million, I still would have paid the same thing because I love my kids that much. If it cost me my life, I would pay my life for it. I love my kids that much.
Who the hell has that type of money who isn't worth, tens of millions of dollars? The average man will not be able to get custody.
But see, my thing is, it cost me $1 million with my divorce.
$1 million.
$1 million down the drain. And that money, I would offer her to do this. But see, she's not a bad mother. So I would never, ever, people came to me, just take your son. I said, I'm not in a position to raise him by myself. And she's not a bad mother. He's not in threat. He's not in danger of being with her. And for me to take him, just because she's giving me hell, would make me the same as she is. So, if I take him, he'll be raised by a nanny and the rest of it. So, she's not a bad mother. She just was a fucked up ex-wife that wouldn't let this shit go on, wouldn't let this shit go. It's over. And she using him, that's why I wrote the joke. She doesn't know. I don't negotiate with terrorists. She's holding him as a hostage.
Yeah.
And it's a hostage situation. Unfortunately, but fortunately, the person that's holding, I know ain't gonna do no harm to him. So I have to negotiate with a terrorist. And hopefully we can go with, so all the bullets that she shoots at me, they never affected me, because when someone says, and I tell men this all the time, if you're going to sit here and say you would do anything for your child, then motherfucker, deal with an unreasonable bitch if you truly love them. And that's what I did. And that's what I will continue to do, because he's more important than what you say to me, because once I don't love you anymore, I don't care what your thoughts are about me no more. I don't care what your opinion of me. I'm a professional comedian. I deal with hecklers all day long. What you say about me don't matter. That's an occupational hazard. So it is.
You had a whole routine about how Michael Jordan had $400 million and he still couldn't keep his wife.
Man, what you really want from him? And how do you leave a man with $400 million? Who's gonna fuck with you after that? How do you expect him to discipline his kids? Tell that motherfucker, go clean your room. Fuck you. This all my daddy shit. You living in here, you need to move that UPS motherfucking truck to the back. You bringing down the fucking property value. You understand what I'm saying? It's just a realization. Everywhere you try to take her somewhere, he done took her.
You're wearing his shoes.
You wearing his shoes. You got his drawers on. It's comical.
Well, you also talked about the difficulty of dating Coretta Scott King.
Yeah. Fucking with a man got his own holiday. You could not tell her you couldn't come there and tell her dreams. Look, babe, I'm thinking about opening me up a barbershop. Get the fuck out of here. My man dream talking about change the whole world. You talking about a fucking barbershop? Why fuck with Coretta? You understand?
You live on his street.
You live on the street. This nigga got a street. You understand? You living on the street. How you gonna be better than that? Just let Coretta be.
You know, you fast forward to 2020.
Yes.
Bill Cosby is in prison.
Yes.
And OJ's playing golf.
Yes. But Bill's where he's supposed to be.
You think so?
I know so.
You know so.
I mean, I believe give me one, give me two, but when it get up to 700 of them, when it get a lot.
I mean, did you ever hear stories coming up about Bill?
I heard. But you wouldn't say nothing to him. And, you hear it. People heard it before.
Did you ever come in contact with Bill?
I met him once. I got turned off with Bill when we finally got a vehicle such as Def Jam, and he was the most powerful man, and as a black man in our genre, and he condemned it. He sit there and said cussing and it's ignorant and it making us look bad. And we as comics was like, Bill, they're not giving us no shot. If we can't even get in these improv clubs unless we conform to what they wanted to do. We couldn't get on the Tonight Show. We couldn't get on anything. This the only vehicle and we're speaking to our people. Even if you believe it that way, why would you come out and use your platform to denigrate us? And you talking about cussing and everything. And then when his ass went to look for bail on appeal when he was convicted, and they told him, no, the prosecutor told him, no, apprehend him now and take him to jail because he has the means, because he has a jet, he has money, and he jumped up, I ain't got no motherfucking jet. I say, well, Bill, now it's cool for you to say motherfucker when they on your ass? Pull your pants up. Y'all are bad parents. We're trying to give our kids some self-esteem. They fighting a different thing. Yeah, they should pull their pants up. But we down at the front left, on the front motherfucking line. You up in the heels. They treating you better because you're Bill. Now look how they treating you when they accuse you some shit and you feel it ain't right. Look how they treat you. Now you want us to gallop around your ass and just sit here and take your word. When you ain't had that same compassion when we was going through it.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed Tamala Jones, and she remembers firsthand, when she did a Booty Call, Bill just totally trashed that movie.
He thought that we focused on advertising sex, and he missed it. We were talking about safe sex, and it was during the movement of when our people our age were talking about sex. You know, TLC had the condoms over the eye.
Right.
So it was like, you can't stop people from doing what they're going to do, but you can advise them on how to be careful while they're doing it. He didn't get it.
What did he say exactly?
He said this film was disgusting and that it showed that African American young people only think about body parts and sex.
And you just hear stories like this over and over again of black comedians and black actors just getting the tail end of the stick, you know, when it comes to Bill's comments.
Yes. He was, you got to understand, he was the first black man ever to be on a network television show. He was royalty to the establishment.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of embracing that to where we are now, the number one seller in all these comments, saying he went in that motherfucker and condemned us. The only vehicle we had, the only platform that gave you Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Martin Lawrence, Jamie Foxx, all of this.
Dave Chappelle.
D.L. Hughley, me, all of us. Chris Tucker gave us all these. Mm-hmm. If he had it his way, he would have shut that shit down.
Facts.
Shut it down. He wanted to shut the shit down. It carried no weight because of the language he didn't like. He didn't see no artistic value in it at all. And I'm supposed to respect that now that you getting into some shit now all of a sudden? Fuck out of here. Go through the system, motherfucker. Now you know how it feels.
Right. I mean, even Eddie Murphy still like takes jabs at him.
Of course. Because he saw it when he did Raw. Called him, your son went to go see him. He used all the love. And Eddie said in our porn, called me, listen to what he said, called me and chastised me because he's Bill. And what he was saying, he feel that he could go around telling other motherfuckers what they supposed to do. He speaks for us like we monolithic that he's our leader.
Yeah.
He said, I try to tell some jokes between the motherfuckers kiss my ass. What did he say, son? He said all these words, motherfucker, and this and this. And you say the shit and this and that. Motherfucker, I'm insulted. Had to call Richard Pryor. Tell a nigga shut the fuck up. Have a Coke and a smile and kiss my ass. Did they pay you and that stuff? It's subjective, Bill. That's all.
And it's too bad because I actually like Bill's stand-up. Like Bill Cosby himself, I thought was an all-time classic. He was a very funny guy, and he made a huge impact. You know, I forgot who said it. Someone I interviewed basically said they feel like Obama as a black president was because of the foundation that Bill Cosby put in.
True. And it's a shame that we needed a foundation for this, but he should take credit on it. But he also chastised the motherfucker that was coming up that didn't follow the straight cut what he supposed to be off of it. And because of old people like him, and that mentality is why our kids are in the street with a disconnect and not listening to their elders. You have to communicate with our kids. You can't tell them what to do. You have to talk to them and let them tell you where they at and tell them, suggest this. This is a better way.
How well do you know George Lopez?
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Love him.
Okay.
I love my respect.
Recently, there was a story that was circulating around saying that Iran offered $80 million for the head of Donald Trump. George Lopez responded to one of these articles on his own Instagram and said, we'll do it for half of that.
Right.
What'd you think of that?
I had something like that, and you know, certain people handles my Instagram on it, and I understand it's a dicey thing. It's a dicey thing because as a joke, you take it. But on the other end, you might be looking for a call from the Secret Service.
I think they actually called him.
You understand? And said they'll look at that as a threat towards the President of the United States. So it's a dicey thing. Me, myself, when you're dealing with this president right here, all I say to his and the rest of it, we want to respect the office, but the person in the office got to respect it too. if he wants to be respected in the office, then give respect from the office. You cannot sit here and call other people son of a bitches, sitting down here and telling motherfuckers, I'm going to blast and kill, and we're going to turn your shit into parking lots to different things, and think motherfuckers are not going to say it towards you, because they should respect the office that you in. And as a comedian, you should also, and I mean this from the mouth, recognize the source. It came from a comedian. So from that point, you recognize that's the president, that it should be respected. You also respected that this is coming from a motherfucker who's from a clown. And we're looking for the joke. And if you want to be that offended and be that motherfucking skin, to the point, that thin skin, maybe this job ain't for you.
Oh, this is the most sensitive president ever.
He's not sensitive. You cannot say anything to him. I have never seen a place that we get to the point that if you bring any disparaging, disagree him, you're never Trumper. It's not my responsibility to like you. You're a politician. You're supposed to succumb to me to earn my vote. And if I don't like your vote, I should be able to say, fuck you. You're not good. You're not good for me. Oh, you're never Trumper. You never liked him. I don't supposed to like him. You supposed to earn my trust. I don't supposed to sit down. You're not a dictator. You're not a king. It's not inherited that I'm supposed to love you and acknowledge everything you say. You're supposed to earn it. Once, even if I didn't vote for you, it's your responsibility to show why I should have. Not to sit here since I ain't doing shit for you. Fuck you. Fuck everybody that believe to you. And have your base over this motherfucker say they just attacking them. They want him out of office. If they want him out of office, then don't do shit to get put out the office. You sitting here. It's ridiculous. And again, with no disrespect, there's only one human being that can sit here and have this. I never seen so many whining white men in my life. Can't get no job. They taking your grandfather should be rolling in the ground with you crying ass white men right now. We're in danger. Now you're trying to put us in the war because you say he's the most dangerous terrorist in the world. Before the start of the war, they had weapons of mass destruction. Now there's the dangerous, we ain't gonna hit it. But your children ain't gonna fight in this bitch. And it's all white men. Because if you look at the Republican Party, it shows none of the demographics of the country.
Well, I mean, you've had some non-white Trump supporters. I had Tito Ortiz, the MMA fighter.
I'm talking about running the country of the Republican Party. He's in power because of his base. Nothing, you can turn on Fox News and you would think it's a state-run fucking channel. They have never said nothing this motherfucker done wrong. This motherfucker said he's never asked God for forgiveness because he's never done nothing wrong. Nothing. Zero, because they know if they say something wrong to him, he going to be on his bad side, he going to get a tweet. They had the nerve to just put a Democrat on Fox. What the fuck you putting him on there for? Fox then lost, they forgot who putting you there. What the fuck? This is a news agent that's supposed to cover politics, the whole three branches of government. You are not a king. There are three equal branches. He don't feel it. He told Congress about it by a tweet. You have been properly notified right now. By a tweet. A black man could never send no tweet to Congress saying, nigga, this is why I'm about to blow shit up. By a tweet. You couldn't keep a job to tweet as much as this motherfucker do. He stay on his own golf course. He's promoting his own business by being there because they covering it. That's a conflict of interest right there.
Yep.
Only a white man can get around, and they say nothing. Nothing. But he said something cool today. And I want everybody to know this, and please add this part. He said as long as he's president, this is what he's going to do. So what the country going to do? If this is what you want, A man that just focused to the people that voted for him and not the rest of the country, then it's time for America to step up. Out of the 350 million people we got in here, he's the most qualified motherfucker we got. I understand the past. It was an experiment. You got tired of what it is, but we need to go back to our original programming. This fucking reality show must stop.
Well, it's interesting how certain black people have gone along with him. Well, for example, Steve Harvey, who you've worked with a lot, he went and met with Trump and then regretted it.
It was a setup. It was a setup. I understand why he did it. Steve is a friend of mine, Dion, and I'm not here to pretend, to defend him, but Steve doesn't need no defense. But I understand it. And I tell black people right here, we the minority. We always met with the majority. Martin Luther King always met with racist people because that's the only way you're going to do it. If they got it there, for the forward of it. You understand? He did not stand with him, and it was a setup to the point on it, and I believe him, and it is. I know Steve. Steve has done more for us, talking about young in our community, than all these motherfuckers that's criticized him. None of these motherfuckers ain't got no camp for young boys out this motherfucker showing them how to be a man. They sitting there on the Twitter, what have you done for the culture?
Well, then there's Kanye.
Well, that's happened when you fuck with them Kardashian. You know, we both live in Calabasas. You know, when you get up on that hill fucking with that kind of pussy, you know, it changes who you are. You understand? She out of all the beautiful women in the world, she got him to marry him, give him kids.
She's the only Kardashian that's married.
Yes.
How's that?
Yeah.
They all got kids.
All got kids.
She's the only one that's married.
And she sent him back in our community believing in Jesus and the word. He done had all these other women around the world, but fucking with her, then came back, loving the Lord.
Well, in some of your routines, you called yourself a snitcher.
Oh, yeah.
So yours is definitely snitching.
There you go. If they catch me, they caught us. That's why I don't do nothing. I can't go to jail. They rape motherfuckers in jail.
You said you would snitch on your own mother.
You goddamn right. She got to do the time. She done lived her life. Let me live my life. Shit. Fuck it. Let's snitch on grandmama. She 80. We looking for a place to put her. Look at God. Won't he do it? They put her in a home. We can go visit her. Put shit on the books. There it is.
She won't know the difference.
She won't know the difference. She got Alzheimer's. She don't know. Put these keys in her Bible. Say these was her drugs. She was the mastermind. Don't fall for this shit. You know, she don't know who she is. That's it.
Well, you know, hip-hop used to be stop snitching, and now in 2020, Tekashi went and snitched on everybody. You know about that whole story?
I know a little bit about it. I understand why he did, but he was perpetrating the fraud. See, everybody will play that gangster till that bill come. That bill came. That motherfucking bill came. See, that's the one thing I always, if I could just go anywhere, I would just love to be in the cell when each person that's in there, it hit them of the repercussion of that minute or that second decision that cost them their whole life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, D.L. Hughley, when I interviewed him last year, he said, when we talked about Tekashi, he said, everyone wants to be black until the police show up.
Yes.
Be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. Everybody wants to be a nigga till the police show up. Everybody does. That's great and fun. And now you'll see. I think that is an age old, like it's been around since time infinitum.
Until that bill is due. Mm-hmm. The bill is due. See, when that bill due, you like, hell no. Oh, hell no. When that bill came, it was cool. Rap about to give it to me. I kill motherfuckers. I do the time. I ain't snitch. But when they put you in that bitch and that motherfucker say we looking at 50 years, I used to have a joke. The joke was, I had a cousin that was in jail for life. He used to call me every day. I was like, hey, man, you got to split these calls up. You're going to be in a long time. I don't know what to tell a motherfucker who ain't got no future. Keep your head up and your ass down. I would ask you what you did, but you're going to tell me what you did yesterday, tomorrow, and the same shit you're going to do the next day. So the conversation going to be boring. Because your life, you have given up your whole life off of one situation. You will not take that loss. You have gambled everything. And I tell young people all the time, do not give up your life for a 2020 brand new Mercedes. Because they're going to make a 2021 and a 2022.
Oh, yeah. We just did an interview with this guy, Peanut King. He was the, well, you may know who he is, actually, you know, being from D.C. He was the biggest drug dealer in Baltimore.
Okay.
And he just came back after doing 35 years. Or 37 years, actually. 37 years. He went in at 28 and came out at 65.
Ooh!
But after doing 37 years, you can't go back and be you.
Right.
I mean, that's a little impossible. I mean, the whole world has shifted. I mean, so it's the same thing if you did 10 years. You get back out, you just can't go back out and be you. Things have shifted. People can attempt to, but everything shifts.
And I remember someone actually left a comment on one of the articles, you know, one of the videos. They said, this man has been locked up since Ronald Reagan's first term. He was in jail when Thriller came out. Muhammad Ali was still boxing. Mumia Abu Jamal was still a journalist. Tupac was still living in Harlem. Def Jam wasn't even a label yet. What's Happening was still filming. Spike Lee was in college.
Yes.
That's how long he's been gone.
And you know what's the deepest thing is on that? And he gave all that up. And now you got to ask, in exchange for what? Was it your manhood, or you feel worthless to the point that's the only way I can make it? See, when I was coming up, I didn't know what I was going to do. But I said, this is what I'm not going to do. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to slang. I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that. Now, what we got to find something.
I feel you.
65. You just think of that. And that's what I mean. At one point, he came to the realization he going to have to evaluate, was what I did, allegedly, and they found him guilty, was it worth me giving all this up for?
Yeah, being in a cage for 37 years
37
with no women,
years.
Being around some of the worst people in society,
Fighting
people with
for
mental
your
issues, people who can't read, like gangs, violence, rapes, like
hate your manhood, just the ignorance of the ignorant. The most ignorant people in the world congregated where there's no nothing. Mm-hmm. No, I'm telling on you. To stay out of that, I'm snitching. You gotta go. They caught us. They caught us. If I'm caught here.
In one of your comedy shows, you had this really interesting theory about why Noah couldn't be black.
No one could be what, excuse me?
Noah and the ark.
Oh, why Noah couldn't be right? Yes, that's true. There's no way no black family could be on no boat for 40 days and 40 nights and didn't eat those 2 chickens. They would have ate them motherfuckers. Excuse me, Lord. I got hungry. We're just going to have to find another way. Why put them on here if you didn't want me to eat them, Lord? You know how we love them. And you're missing one pig, too. Because we had to have some bacon with these eggs, these motherfucking chickens, man. And that's where it's at. Now, I brought you the deer and everything else. But we're missing one pig and all the chickens.
You also had a theory why you think Jesus could have been black.
Oh, I forgot that one. Why Jesus could have been black.
It was explain why he hasn't come back yet. Well, he hasn't returned yet.
Oh, yeah. I understand why Jesus could be. That's why it's taking him so long to come back. Yeah, because a black man is never on time. Yeah. That was I understand, but I think Jesus is black. That's why he ain't come back, and you don't know when he's coming. You don't know when he's coming. Yeah, that's funny.
Have you ever come in contact with Michael Jackson?
No. I miss Michael. I did meet Janet. That's about it. Talk shit about Tito.
I've interviewed Tito.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
Yeah, nice guy, but
lives in Calabasas.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful what we say about him. I ran into him at Albertsons not too long
well,
ago.
He know motherfucking well. The only reason he in the Jackson 5 because Jackson 4 didn't roll off the tongue. Jackson 4, nah. Come on, Tito. We need you in the group because we wanted to keep the name. That's all.
Well, it was just announced that the Neverland accusers, they could actually go forward with their trial.
What trial of what?
I guess for being raped by Michael, allegedly.
Michael's not here.
They're suing the estate.
Okay, if you sue the estate, still don't think you can. I don't know the legal thing that you can get any money from the estate.
Well, that's what they're trying to do.
I feel you.
Did you watch the movie? I mean, the documentary?
No.
No, you skipped that one?
He's gone. You understand? See, I don't want to get in trouble here with this, but fuck it. I question the motivation. If you want to help other people, there's other way you can help other people that's been through this without a documentary. See, it kills me with, I want to get out here so other people know. There are other agencies out here on it. The man is gone. If he was found guilty and executed, you still wouldn't be coming back there. He's gone. There's no way he personally can be held accountable for what you said. So now you want the pain that you're going through to be passed on anyone of his siblings or anyone that's associated with him. And hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And that's what you is. I understand you're hurt, but now you're trying to hurt, and I don't respect other people giving these people a platform to hurt other people. If they want to do better, then it's shelters, it's different agencies that they can volunteer or give their service to help people that's in the same thing.
Well, Oprah gave him a platform.
I don't agree with it. I understand she has a job to do. She has a network that she needs content on. I get that. But personal responsibility, there's another way. I personally feel.
Well, yeah, we're living in a time right now where you could accuse someone of something that happened 30 years ago, create a narrative that can't be checked for accuracy,
right,
and then go forward in a legal proceeding and potentially win.
Yeah. Yes, you can.
Look at R. Kelly.
Yeah.
R. Kelly's in jail right now because of a documentary. Mm-hmm. Because of leaving R. Kelly, or surviving R. Kelly.
Surviving R. Kelly. But he continued to allow himself to be in that situation. I said, and I will say it to the day I die, if it is a misunderstanding, just say, for example, it's a misunderstanding. He been properly warned. He went to trial of these accusations, and he still allowed the narrative of the way he was current to allow this to become to fruition. If for some reason, for whatever reason, that my community to believe that I was messing with some of our kids, believe me, the next time you see Earthquake, y'all be saying, why is Earthquake fucking with all these old ass hoes? I be with this bitch so old, nigga, they be coming in there with a walker. I be like, come on in here, Miss Pearl. I wouldn't fuck with no woman under 70 because for some reason there's an assumption that I fuck with underage women. And I must break this narrative and this perception of it because it's a misunderstanding. I'm not going to feed into it.
Yeah, I mean, because after all the accusations, I remember Teray, who I've had on my show, we went through this we talked about his interview. I think he was on BET. He goes, will you still date teenagers? And out of all the answers that R. Kelly could have given, he said,
define young teenager.
What do you mean by teenager?
Yeah. See?
Out of all the answers he could have given.
Because that's the truth.
So now, if you watch Zapruder film closely, I start to say, do you like under it? But then at the last second, I'm like, he's gonna make underage to be 14, and I don't want to give him that out. So at the last second, I said, do you like teenage girls? So I started to say underage, but change. And this changes the question for him. He cannot get out as easily now when I'm saying, do you like teenage girls? And instead of saying no, because that is his truth, is yes, he said, what are you talking about? Because he couldn't just say no. He would just have to be a total liar to say no, but he couldn't. So he's like, define your terms.
Because he don't feel no responsibility. You understand? He don't feel, that's the arrogance of it. You understand what I'm saying? That's where humility come in, empathy. For some reason, it's a bad, somebody think I'm fucking with younger, so I must change it. So the next time you see me, it's not gonna be no question that this motherfucker's young.
Well, but look
that ain't young.
Look at Michael Jackson.
Yes.
He was being taken to trial and everything else like that and being sued for messing with underage kids, and he continued to hang out with little boys.
Exactly. Motherfucker, no.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? That's arrogance. That's arrogance. That's what I say. God is giving you a gift that you done touched it, and the only thing he asks you to do is not to give the impression of it, and you won't even make that sacrifice. You feel you are that entitled that you won't even give this. Listen, for some reason they think I'm fucking with these little kids. I can't have nothing but grown people around me.
Right, or my relatives.
Yes.
Because no one cares about that. No one cares that his cousins and nephews are around.
Right.
It's these random little white kids that you're not even related to.
But your arrogance feel you can do it even if the image is, the perception is given you for this, you must do your own. And for that, because you didn't do that, and you're so blessed to be separated from me, you, and have the best everything this earth had to offer, and the only sacrifice you have to do is not give the perception that you have fucking with little kids and young girls, and you won't do that. I have no sympathy for you. None.
Yeah, nobody has sympathy for R. Kelly.
None.
None whatsoever. I mean, because even when we did the Gayle King interview, he
Yes.
was like, I don't look at my age. I look at legal.
See?
You didn't have to say that. You could do that, but you didn't have to say it.
No, because he's doing it. See, the arrogance will tell you this is what I'm doing. It started, you look at Trump, he did the same. The arrogance does it. When you're a narcissistic person, they're going to tell you who they are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Nick Cannon, who's worked with R. Kelly, he's a regular on my show, he feels, this is his theory, R. Kelly can't read. So therefore, he's attracted to immature women. And actually, immature women are attracted to him. Because what type of meaningful conversation can you have with a professional woman when you can't even read?
True.
Like I see why that man is attracted to a younger girl, because they talk
mentally.
Yeah, they're on the same level.
Oh,
like no sophisticated
I've
grown.
I've never actually looked at it like
what
that.
What grown ass woman, other than once you get over the fact that this man is a great singer and performer, what's your conversation going to be about for someone who's illiterate?
That's true. And he fuck with women that are enablers. They sacrifice who they are to come with the accolades of who it is, and the parents too.
Yep, there's always the parents.
Because they knew.
Parents absolutely knew.
They knew. Yeah. I'm not saying all of them, but the rumors was out there. Now, once your child get of age, you can't tell them, but you don't supposed to bring them to the Lions Den.
No. Earthquake.
Yes.
Definitely a pleasure.
Thank you.
If you've never seen Earthquake perform live, and I've got a chance to look at a bunch of your stand-ups, just a very powerful performer.
Thank you.
And I've seen a lot of stand-up comedians over the years, and the way you really command that stage is on a different level.
Thank you. And it's an honor. I always wanted to be on your show. I never put the two and two together. And when we did the show together, it was an honor. Thank you, and it's been a privilege.
Until next time.
Till next time.
Peace.
Thank you, brother. Peace.